Matt, thank you for joining me on the Do Nothing podcast. I'm so grateful to be at this amazing headquarters here.
Oh, well, thanks for being here. Excited to have you.
We are in Pontiac, Michigan, and it's a town like a few towns in our state and on the specifically on the east side of our state here in Michigan that has gone through some tough times. And as your company has grown, you decided to come in here and really make a mark. And I'd love to hear about your thought process around that.
Yeah, our company, it's all about people. And so we want to make sure we have a great home, a great place for our people. And so moving from Troy to Pontiac, which we did last year, was all about keeping everyone under one roof, together. There aren't too many companies that I think are our size that are able to keep everyone in one roof and have it so that we all work together. We think there's so many synergies of being together in one place. And so when we moved from Troy to Pontiac, we found this great building. We built it out. It's really customized everything for our team members. What do our people want? What do they want? What do they do on their way to and from work? And we basically built it, think about client experience, we think about team member experience first. And we're proud to be here. We have 610,000 square feet. We have a room for 4,500 people. We got about 3,300 now. So we're growing fast, but it's been great to move here, and we're excited to be here for a long, long time.
And I noted I got a little tour beforehand, which was amazing. I wasn't expecting that. And so there is something for everybody. You really were thoughtful in the way you set this up so people could be the most, I would say, productive in their life. Things like there's some lockers for people to drop off their dry cleaning. What are some of the other things that, you put into place here for your team members?
So all those things, and luckily we got so many great team members, they gave us ideas. When we're building a big headquarters, we're able to, customize it a little bit to what our team members want. And so once again, thinking everything they would do on their way to work. So a lot of people stop and drop off things at the dry cleaning. So we put it here for them. A lot of people stop and have breakfast. We have breakfast here for you. A lot of people like to work out. We have a full basketball court and a full fitness center,
which we're overlooking right now. It's
amazing. So we, and then on the same thing on the way home, we try it's all about. And a lot of people stop for Starbucks. By the way, we have a Starbucks in our building, right? And so we try to make it so everything you would do on your way to and from work, instead of going and making 3 stops on your way to work, just come right here to United Store, UWM, and we'll be here. You can take care of your stuff, work your 40 hours, go home. And on the way home, what do? A lot of times you pick up milk and eggs. Well, we have that here in the store for you, so you don't have to stop on the way. A lot of times you maybe get a haircut. We have a haircut. We have everything you think about. We have doctors here. A lot of times people used to, we got a lot of feedback. People, the hardest thing was to take a half day or go to a doctor or even get into a doctor when you're sick.
Yeah.
Well, full doctor's offices, not just urgent care, but your full primary care doctor. So we try to make it so this is a hub to make it a great place so it takes care of the team member experience.
And, one of the things that you talk a lot about is, and I probably won't say it right, but essentially using your time to its wisest. And so, you don't have to, work all kinds of hours per se. If you can be as productive as you can within the work hours, that's kind of what you're shooting for. So
yeah, one of the things we've talked about for years here, and we got ebbs and flows, is trying to making sure that we call it a firm 40, which is, hey, listen, I want you to come work hard, grind, but on the weekends, go be with your family, right? And on at night, leave, go be with your kids, right? Don't miss your kids' sports game, right? We're big on family here. It's a family company, and it's run like a family. And people have family events. What we do is we tell them to go be with them. And so we try to keep people to less hours. Now, I don't want people working 60, 70, 8 hours. Now, when crazy things happen in the business, what we found is people jump in and say, listen, you never ask us to work many hours, so extra hours, so we'll do it now because the business needs it. And so they can't take care of it because they know that we care about them. They care about the business. And if your people care about the business like the owner does, it makes it for the business to be really successful.
I like that, the firm 40. Is that what you guys actually refer to it?
Yep, absolutely. The way I look at it is the firm is on you, as in you've got to work hard for all 40 hours.
Yeah.
The 40 is on me. My job is to have enough team members so that you don't have to feel like you got to come in on a Saturday or feel pressured in that respect.
Yeah, that's great. I think, most really successful and thoughtful leaders that I know have a certain morning routine. One of the things that I do in the morning when I first get up is I do nothing, which is my meditation practice. But what does your morning routine look like? How do you get yourself up?
So I get up, no alarm clock, every day between 3:30 and 4. And so 25 minutes in my house and I'm out the door. And so I don't have a workout. I really get up and I start thinking about work. I check my emails and I get to the office. So I'm usually here between 4:30 and maybe 5:30 in the latest days, but 4:30 and 5 most days. but between 4:30 and 8:30, I usually don't have meetings, and so that 4 hours is my get everything I need to get done, make decisions, reach out to different people, send out emails, follow up with calls, set agendas, and so that's my best time. I'm sharpest. I'm ready. I have a cup of fruit in the morning each morning, and I'm drinking a lot of water. Drinking water. But so I don't work out. I don't have I should go with the do nothing mentality and figure out meditating. But I'm not. I get up and I run out the door. Basically,
is your brain wired like fast? Are you just like you're up and you're going?
I'm going. I mean, sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. to use the bathroom, and I don't go back to sleep. I just start thinking about business. I'm out the door, right?
Okay.
It's just like once I start thinking, I go, and and I don't really need that many hours of sleep. I feel good. I got young kids at home, so at night I'm with them until I put them to bed, and then I go to sleep, and I'm right back at it.
You and your wife Emily, right?
Yes.
And then you've got 3 kids under 7.
My oldest is 8 now, so 8,
okay.
5, and 4. But they're.
And so, what time are you home with them? And then what time do you go to bed? Like how much sleep do you need?
Yeah, so it's really every day, same time in the morning I get up and go, but I get home by about 6:45 at night. So my wife usually waits for dinner until 6:45. That's kind of the rule, and then 6:45 to 7 we eat as a family, and then from 7 to 9 I'm with the kids. Whether we're playing with the weather coming, we're in the pool or outside playing, or just doing homework or doing stuff with the kids from 7 to 9. I do their bedtime routine. We watch a movie together. I, tell them bedtime stories. And then at 9 o'clock, me and my wife will talk for a couple minutes, or I'll check on some emails. And I'm usually asleep by 10.
By 10.
So then 10 o'clock till about, 3:30.
So 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. And,
perfect.
And you got good energy around that.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
No coffee, just water all day.
Just water all day.
And I feel good every day. Yeah.
What's your diet like? Are you conscious of that? I mean, to have this kind of energy?
I'm not as probably good. I got young kids, so we eat McDonald's and we do some stuff that my wife doesn't love sometimes. But I do try to eat consciously, not too much and not too many desserts. But for the most part, I'm just eating quick, and I'm usually working. Like I said, water's the healthy thing, and a cup of fruit in the morning. I feel good about it and get me going.
Are you typically here at the office? Are you traveling much? Or
no, I'm almost here every day. Very rarely. If I travel, it's like a one-night trip to DC to visit with people, or go to speak at an event in Florida or California or something. So it's usually, but I'm here almost every day. I try not to travel too often. I love being here. I love being around the energy around our people here, and just being around everyone. That's when I'm most productive.
Now you don't get down here and shoot baskets? What's the deal? Like, was this a dream come true in a way?
It's
like having a basketball background?
Yeah, it's something I never even considered. You don't even think about that in an office, having a basketball court. When I got to the company, 16 years ago, there's 12 people. It's not, you don't think about a basketball court. You think about, and so it doesn't even cross our mind. But even in the last couple of years, we didn't think about it until, but this has been great because it's not, I don't actually play down here. But I like seeing people play. There's yoga classes. People play dodgeball. People play basketball. There's 3-on-3 tournaments at lunch. There's just so many things that you don't even think of. We have a kids' day here coming up. There's gonna be an event for the kids in here. It's just like there's so many fun things, and it's just a great energizing thing for our team. And so you see people down here shooting hoops at different times of the day, or playing football, playing catch in the gym. It's a lot of fun.
You grew up in a suburb here of Detroit and called Birmingham, and you went to the same high school that my brother went to, who my brother is 20 years younger than I am. And we text every morning, and I sent him a text this morning, and I said that I was going to be chatting with you. His text reply to me, and I think he's about 10 years different in age, he said Matt was the standard that they would always talk about that we had to live up to.
Oh, wow.
What were you like in high school?
Oh, I don't know.
Obviously a great kid, right?
Well, that's really nice. No, I mean, in high school, I was just, I was working hard, doing good in school, and just, trying to be friendly. It was a great school. Seaham a great school. I unfortunately didn't know your brother. He's younger than me, but I would love to, I had a great time at school. Seaham was a great education, but a lot of great friends that I'm still close to this day. And the school's great. The basketball program was great, but just all the things there. I loved it there, and I love just being around this community. It's been great for my whole life.
So you were a good student. And of course, you excelled at basketball. That was like your sport. Did you play other sports?
Yeah, played soccer and baseball.
You did.
Eventually gave those up after my sophomore year to just focus on just basketball. But my whole life I was playing as many sports as I could.
What was it like growing up? What was your family like?
So I have an
Your
older brother.
household, yeah.
So, and both my parents still live right down the street together.
Yeah.
Where we actually, at the place I grew up, they still live there. And so my brother and I were very close. He was a couple years older. And so my whole life, I was always the little brother, trying to compete from an athletic perspective with my brother and his friends. So that was great for me I'm always playing against kids 2.5, 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
And so it was great though. Me and my brother are close. My parents are great. I learned a lot from my mom from school perspective. She was a teacher in Pontiac for 25 years,
Yeah.
right around here. And my dad's an attorney. And I learned from both them a lot of things that I do today. And my brother was a great friend of mine. Still, I talk to him not every morning like you text with your brother, but we probably talk 2 or 3 times a week.
And is he in Chicago?
Yeah, he's in private equity, healthcare, nothing to do with our business, but he's done real well for himself.
Okay, I was going to ask because I noticed it was like United Private Equity or something. The same
Shore Capital.
Shore, that's what it was. Sorry.
Exactly, and he's done real well. And, he loves that. It says, I don't understand that world. I just know this world. But he does good.
Okay, so you don't do stuff together. I was wondering if there was some
No,
sort
we
of
really
time.
don't. I mean, I invest in his deals, and
Yeah.
if I ever want to talk business, he'd love to talk business about what I'm doing. But we're on opposite worlds. He's an investor coming in, and I'm an operating business. We're opposite, but he has good insights. He's very smart.
What do you attribute this kind of energy that you have? And I in doing some of my background on you, I got a real positive energy from you, and a lot of physical energy too. Where does that come from?
I'm always in a positive mood. I think it's a decision. Things I think about every day is like the 2 things I get to decide. I can't decide much, but I can decide my energy, my attitude, and my work ethic. And I choose to outwork everyone as much as I can and have a great outlook. Like you always can look at something that's down, and I can have a reason that something's bad every single day, but instead I look at the positive. And so I'm happy. I love my life. I got great people around me. I got energy. I get the energy from the people here. People here smiling, and people that I'm very fortunate to have so many great people around me. And so there's nothing to complain about. Life's too short to complain, and I think there's a lot of great things going on. And if something's not going great, well then do your best to change it.
Were you always like that growing up?
I think it evolved more. I think so, though. My parents were always, taking the positive, the glass half full, not empty perspective, and we're, not thinking about all the, you could always find something down, like, and that people you're around. Everyone's got a friend or two that's always, no matter what time they call, they always got something in the world is wrong, and it's like. I like to be around people that are positive, and not that I avoid or ignore things that aren't going great, but you know what? There's a lot more good things going on in my life than bad things, and so focus on the good and enjoy it and smile, and even more good things usually come that way.
What was your decision-making process to go to Michigan State? Here again, it's in East Lansing, Michigan. What was your decision? Was it basketball driven?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. So I always wanted, my whole life I was. Wanted to play in the NBA, right? I was going to, and I realized that the NBA probably was tough, but I wanted to play at the highest level I could. And so when I was in high school, I got recruited by some smaller Division I schools, or some, even Division II and III schools, and I got a chance to. I could have went and played a lot at one of those schools and got a scholarship, but the opportunity to play. My challenge was always, I want to be against the best. I want to compete against the best every day, and Michigan State was that opportunity. Michigan State had just won their first Big Ten championship in a long time with Coach Izzo, and the opportunity to become a walk-on on that team, and eventually I earned a scholarship there. But that was the best decision of my life, going to school there, and the experience there, and just playing against the best players. And you know what? I never started. I earned a scholarship. I never became a star player there, but I was a third-string point guard, the 13th or 14th guy on a 15-person team, but it was the best experience of my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
When obviously I've never gone through this process of coming out of high school and knowing that I could go play in a program like a basketball, highly regarded program like that. What was that like? And then when you were going to state, did the coaches, or however it all works, did they say to you, well, we're not sure we have a spot, you can come try to walk in or do a walk-on, right? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so it was really, talking to play, my parents, were kind of, obviously they were concerned about their son. They want, to go to the place that's the guarantee, right? And they want me to play because they know I like playing basketball. And so their push was go to one of the smaller schools and have that guarantee that, and my perspective was, I know I can compete at any level, and I know if I outwork people, I will get that opportunity. And so there was no guarantee. It was a preferred walk-on spot, which means that they knew I was coming, and if there was a spot, I was going to have that spot as long as I lived up to the expectations that they had. And so, but I love challenges, and to me, to live my dream of being able to play at the highest level. And then, by the way, obviously I didn't know that we'd go to 3 Final Fours and 3 Big Ten championships, win a national. Like, I had the best experience in learning from Coach Izzo and playing with guys like Mateen Cleaves and Jason. I mean, I couldn't have asked for. All my best friends are those guys now, right? And so I didn't know that, but pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is how I think about that. It's like, it was comfortable to go play at a small Division I school. It would be comfortable to go be a star. It'd be comfortable to keep doing that instead of pushing outside of my comfort level and trying to be the best version of myself I could be. And that's what I did, and that worked out.
Were you actually thinking that way as a senior in high school, or is that upon reflection?
Well, I think it's upon reflection, but I think the part of me that was thinking that way was like, I can play with anybody. I was confident, they just haven't seen me play. They don't know that I can play. And to be truthful, I was wrong, because those guys were better than me. But I believed I could compete with anybody. And so upon reflection, it was like trying to be the best version of yourself. But then I was competitive, and I'm still very competitive to this day in everything I do. That's one of my, you can say my best trait or my worst trait, depending. But I think it's my best trait as being very competitive. And there's no challenge that I won't go and attack.
Do you remember the first time you stepped on the floor to go against these guys, and so the coaches could see you to see if you would actually make the team, or however that all works? And were you nervous?
Oh, no, I wasn't nervous.
No.
I remember it to this day, every minute of that opportunity where I would, it's a long story, so I won't bore you with it, but it was basically the opportunity to play, it was going against Mateen Cleaves, who was the Big Ten reigning player of the year, superstar, and my chance, I got a chance to play going against him, and not one-on-one, there was teams of 5, but and that opportunity, and I played. I wasn't nervous. I played my best I probably ever played. that 10 minutes, which helped me cement my spot on the team.
That's so great. So here you are, you're a freshman, and you're on the bench, not playing a ton. But did the coaches see something in you from like this kind of energy that you had, almost as like a bench leader or a leader of the team, but in a different way?
I think so. I think maybe as time grew on, what I think they realized was that, Matt is going to give it 1,000% every day. He's going to do the right thing. So the coach says, you got to go to class. You show up on time to things. They say show up at 9. I show up at 8:40. Right? Do all the right things because I wanted it so bad. I cared so much, and so I try to be the ultimate teammate. You got to find your role. Just like at my organization, I'm the CEO. I got to be the best CEO compared to other CEOs. I don't have to be the best marketing person or best salesperson. And so at Michigan State basketball, I had to be the best third string point guard in the country, right? I had to make it so that the starters were ready to play. I had to be the best walk-on in the country. I wanted to be that best version of myself. And so, I think they saw that. I think they saw that he cares. He does all the right things. He's going to continue to do the right things. And, you don't earn that over a day. It had to be every day, over and over and over for weeks, months, and then eventually years, to where they've said, gosh, this is the kind of guy, we're so happy to have him part of the program.
Was there ever a point where some of the guys on the team weren't connecting with you or giving you a hard time, or because you weren't at that level, or how does that go?
Honestly, no. And that's a tribute to Coach Izzo and Mateen Cleaves, who was really the leader of the team at that point. Was once you came in there and you were part of that Michigan State family, they invited you in and gave you that respect, and everyone knew your role. No one was thinking Matt was going to come be the star of the team. Everyone knew Matt's role, and they respected the fact that everyone was playing their role. And so no one gave a hard time. Like, we were a family, and like I said, still close to this day. Even the first time I was up there, thinking back of how good those superstars were to someone they didn't know that was trying to be on the team.
Yeah.
I respect them even more now looking back, because they didn't have to be nice to me. They didn't have to go out of their way to take me to the mall with them, and they're signing autographs at places, and they're like, oh, he's on the team too, get his autograph. Little things like that, and they're like, gosh, would you have done that? And I always respect that, and that showed, and that comes from Izzo, but it goes from Mateen Cleaves to Morris Peterson to Andre Hudson, Charlie, David, all the guy, everyone was like that, and it starts at the top, and I really respect that, and it was a big part of my life.
I was curious in thinking about this. the difference in the way you all grew up. I mean, you grew up in a really nice suburb of Detroit. Some of your teammates didn't grow up in the same way, and I always wondered how that translates at the outset. And can you speak to that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, my whole life playing basketball, I played on teams not from around here. So a lot of teams like the Michigan Mustangs, which is a great team for the state of Michigan. And, I was the only guy obviously from Birmingham on that team. And so I was very acclimated to being, around people. And I think a lot of basketball players are acclimated to being around all different walks of life, because basketball is not just one walk of life. Everyone's from different places and comes from different places. And we had guys on our national championship team from, Amish country in Ohio to guys from the inner city of Flint, right? And so everyone really meshes well together. And so, but there is definitely an adjustment period of realizing that, we didn't all come from the same place, but we're all here. It's not from how we all got here differently, but we're all here together now. And I think that, once again, it's all leadership. And I really think, in the end of the day, and the culture at Michigan State basketball is about inclusion, family. There's no hazing, and it's like everyone treated people with respect, but at the same time you had to earn that respect every day. And if you didn't, no one showed up late. No one did anything. Like, you did the right thing. I don't care if you're the star player or the last guy on the bench. And I think everyone respected each other, and it was something special there. And obviously our success, multiple Final Fours back to back, 3 Big Ten championships, all these things, and the national championship is a result of that leadership from Tom Izzo and that culture that he created at Michigan State.
So I have more questions on this, but I'm hearing outside like a chant or something. What's going on? I love this.
So everybody at our company, there's a huddle every single day. So if I lead a team of 8 people, we have a huddle.
Yeah.
So what you're hearing outside it's one of the sales huddles, and they're doing their break at the end of it. Like, all right, guys, I don't know what they're saying, but work hard on 3, wherever it may be. But IT does that, compliance does that, marketing. We're a team. We run this place like Michigan State basketball. We really do. And so hearing a huddle, that's just natural. That's, and then you'll hear the IT guys doing the same thing. And you'll hear, like I said, everyone does it. And it's a great way I always tell people, and I just told my leadership team this morning before this, was the most important 10 minutes of the day is a huddle, because you can recognize people for doing a great job. You can tell them the focus of the day, call the play for the day that we're running. Recognize people that did a great job, talk about things that are going on at the company, and then we break and we go have a great day.
I love its energy. If I get this wrong, you'll correct me. But if I remember from looking all this up, your freshman year, you guys won the national championship.
So it was my second year there, my redshirt freshman year. So
okay, that's why I said freshman.
Yeah,
everything's coming together now.
I redshirted, so I didn't play any games my freshman year, but we won a Big Ten championship, and we went to the Final Four.
Yeah, that was in St. Petersburg, right?
Correct.
Yes, and so my wife and I were there. Were you there?
I was there.
Okay, that's crazy. Okay, and then the next year, you were actually on the bench.
That year I dressed for every game. I actually played in the national championship game for 30 seconds, which was a great experience.
I was at that game too.
Okay, yeah. So I got a chance to play in there. But and then my third year, which was my redshirt sophomore year. But my third year, we also went to the Final Four again in Minneapolis.
Yes, and you lost that game. Okay.
Yep.
So and then your senior year, you lost in the first round, correct?
Yep. Yeah. My 4th year. Yep.
So these 3, like, were you thinking like this is just how things are? Like you just go to the finals. It's like just the way it happens.
Growing up watching basketball, I knew how special that was. To even be on a Big Ten team, and even to be in a Big Ten championship team is unbelievable, right? And so I definitely knew how special it was. And then go to a Final Four is like, that's the dream of the dream of the dreams, right? And so to go to 3 straight Final Fours and being around all these NBA players, like I had to pinch myself sometimes, right? I joke with my mother, who didn't follow basketball much besides watching me. We went to 3 straight Final Fours. In my 4th year, we lost in the first round. And she's like, okay, well, where do we play next week? I'm like, no, it's done. And she's like, well, the Final Four's in 2 weeks. I'm like, no, we don't get to go. It's not like our right. You have to earn it each year. And so, but it was a great experience, and I knew how special it was being there. And looking back now, it's even more special because, you can't even imagine those experiences at this time, looking back and how great it was.
Mm-hmm. When you won the championship, what was that feeling like? Like, is it surreal in a way because you've watched it on TV all those years, and then all of a sudden you're in Indianapolis and all the things are coming down, or whatever happens? I don't know, when you're on the court.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It was a little surreal because but also it was. You're living in the moment and you don't realize how big of a stage it is when you're in the moment.
Okay.
Looking back, like I said, now it's easy to see the Final Four. You were in the Final Four. You won a championship. It's so hard to do. But being around those guys, like the amount of work and effort, it's like you worked thousands of hours to get to that point, and so you're kind of just in the moment. You didn't really realize the stage you're on, and people are like, "Oh, there's millions of people watching. Are you nervous?" And I didn't play, so I couldn't be that nervous. But but no, we weren't. We knew we were out there. We had prepared for this our whole lives, and everyone was ready, and so it was just a great experience.
Mm-hmm. So in losing twice as well, obviously you were in a different position the first year, but the third year you were on the team. There's a level of resilience that you have to have, I would imagine, that comes from that. And obviously this was a rough weekend, and some resilience that the kids at Michigan State are having to deal with right now. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, when we were playing and we lost, and the guys this year had just an unbelievable year. To make it to the Final Four is phenomenal. Win a Big Ten championship, you can't ask for much more than that. And so I think a lot of times when you're playing, you are less disappointed and frustrated than a lot of people outside the world because you understand how hard it was to get there, and at the same time it's a great motivating factor to get back. So the first year when I played Michigan State, we lost, and the motivation was, we've been there, now we're going to go back and win this thing. And that's hopefully how the Michigan State team this year even thinks about it. They got there now, they're going to come back and they're going to win it next year, and that's the goal, and that's what they want to do. And so and then my third year when we lost, it was we were down, and we were like, how do we go back and compete again? And we didn't get to the Final Four again, but it's the mentality of like, when you lose a game or you lose in anything in life, it's like, okay, if you can either dwell on the past or you focus on the future and how you can get better. And that's how I thought about it when we lost in the Final Four, or when anything in business, like, okay, that didn't work, let's go do it better next time.
That's a unique skill, I believe, that you have. Many people kind of get stuck. And, oftentimes, to use the basketball, just to stay on that for a second, you see the kids on the floor crying. Obviously they're devastated. And I'm always curious, how long, like, how about this kid this weekend who made the foul at the Auburn game in Virginia game, and they kind of had it, and the guy made the foul, and then this kid comes up and hits the 3 shots in a row, the 3 free throws. How about that kid? How's he get resilience? What are some of the things?
Yeah, well, you get to decide. You're gonna let that define who you are, or is that going to be a catapult to the next part of your life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I think the kid was actually a senior, so he's probably not playing next year. But the thing is, hey, is this going to be what I remember, or is this going to be just part of my story, or is this my story? And so,
Right.
The way I think about it is, this is just part of my story. I'm on my way to bigger things, and you just got to decide. And the best part of all these things is it's all mental. It's all a decision. You can let people dwell on people. Oh, sorry about the law. I wasn't sorry. We didn't win well. We're going to do better next year. We're going to, it's just, I'm on to the next thing, continue getting better. And if you have that mentality, and I think Tom Izzo really instilled it into his credit all the time, every player there, they get better every single year. The guys that are on the team this year, they're going to be so much better next year because they were. And so the mentality of like where we were today, or where we are today, has got nothing to do with where I'm going to be tomorrow, because tomorrow will be better, and I'll keep getting it. And so you got to have that mentality. It's all a mindset.
I remember when you played, and one of the things I remembered is people loved when you got in the game. They would go crazy. Did you recognize that, and what did that feel like?
I think they loved it because they knew we were winning. If I got it, we were winning by a lot.
No, they loved you. They did. They
know,
wanted to see you out there.
Yeah, hopefully people would look at me back then and still today as just a blue collar, someone that wasn't given all the gifts from an athletic perspective, but would work hard. And people like seeing people that work hard and do their best and have a smile on their face. And that's really what I try to do. And so, I'd recognize that, it's fun. I think back and people would chant my name to come in the game, which, you just dream of that. And then I get in and I miss a shot. But it's just a great experience. And it really was the Michigan State time, the 5 years there, the 4 years playing and 1 year coaching with Izzo, really shaped my life in a way that I could never have imagined. And even that, the fans being appreciative of me coming in and giving me love when I was at the end of the bench, just getting out there and cheering for me was a big part of it.
Was there any rhyme or reason to your number 15?
No, there wasn't. My whole life, number 11, Isaiah Thomas is my guy, and I looked up to him and loved everything about Isaiah. And so, but number 11 was not available, and so number 15 was my number. Now I relate with number 15. That was kind of my number there. And, my whole life I was the point guard, and the point guard around here is Isaiah Thomas, and so being number 11 was what I always was, and. 15 in college, which I loved. I
feel like it suits you because, I'm sure there's a famous 15, but it's not coming to my mind. And if there isn't, is there a famous 15?
I think there's, Vince Carter was 15 for a while.
Okay.
He's a good basketball player, but I don't know. There's not like a real that comes to mind either.
Yeah, I feel like it suits you. Like you needed the 15 to be like the
it.
Matt, So you coached for a year with Tom Izzo. And then I read that you were considering getting into coaching, and you were potentially going to move to Cleveland and do have a full-time assistant coach job, but you decided to come and work with your dad.
Yeah, so I got a chance to be a student assistant coach with Tom Izzo, which was great. Being around the way you think that I consider to be around the best person or one of the best 10 people in the world at what he does all day for a year. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. And so I learned, I soaked up every minute. And there's a lot of minutes, I'll tell you, because there's a lot of hours that he works. And then it was always path was going towards coaching. And one of the assistants there, Mike Garland, got the head job at Cleveland State, and talked to me about coming there with them as an assistant. And end of the day, decided that and Izzo talked to me, my father, like, could I take some of the things I learned in basketball and apply them to business, and maybe even do something even bigger. Than being, coach, and I thought to myself, you guys are crazy. There's nothing. I want to be a coach, right?
Yeah.
And but I said, okay, I'm going to go into business and go to join my father. He had a 12. I was the 12th person at this mortgage company. Yeah. And I fell in love with it. I realized that it translated, that the competitiveness, the drive to be great, it translated. It wasn't just basketball. That was just who I was. I wanted to be, and basketball was where I channeled all my energy and focus my whole life. But now I can channel it into business and into taking care of people. And I've just channeled it all here, and I've loved it ever since I've been here.
I'm curious how you resisted the pull to this, kind of fun. It's athletic. You've been playing ball your whole life, and you could just keep that going. And when I was reading about it, and your father had this small company, as you mentioned, and I thought, wow, at that age, how did you kind of resist that pull? What was some of the decision making to come work with your father?
The thought was that I'd love to be able to control my own destiny and really be involved with every detail. And once you're not playing, now you're coaching, and you got to. And I think you can still control your own destiny, as Tom Izzo does, where he coaches the players up, he holds them accountable, he recruits the great players. But also, I figured one day I'd want to have a family. And the hours that you work there at basketball, I won't say the same amount of hours, but maybe pretty close to but I can control the schedule a little bit more.
Yeah. Where
I can say Saturday I'm going to go coach my son's game, and I'm not going to go to the office. And so I started thinking about what's my lifestyle I want to be one day. But I really, honestly, the day I decided to come work at the mortgage company, the first day I walked in the mortgage company room, no bigger than this conference room right here, there's 12 people in there, and I thought to myself, I ain't gonna be here long, right? I gotta figure out what kind of coach I gotta get back into sports. But I've loved it ever since.
And he put you at the ground floor. You were, I think, in sales right out of the gates. You're making like $18,000 a year or something.
Yeah, at first, actually, my first job was literally taking the faxes off the printer and walking them to the underwriter, putting it in the file, and giving them the file. Like it was the, and then to give my father credit, he's never worked at this business. He's an attorney. He just had a side business that was and he's like, listen, learn it from the ground up. $18,000 a year, that's what I'm starting at, and but learn it and enjoy it. It's not about money. It's about going and doing the job and seeing if this is what you want to do. And so I found that the people that were doing the job that I was doing, they were great people, and that they could do even more. And how could I create an opportunity for them to grow? And then I started doing other underwriting or secondary marketing, and then I eventually got into sales, and I got to meet our clients and to learn what do our clients really need. And so I really, from the ground up, I used to say I did every job, but there's only 12 jobs back then, and now we got a lot more. And but I learned it. I loved it, and I realized a couple things. One was about the client. Everything was client experience. Team member experience and client experience are everything. And then the second big thing was, there were so many great people at levels that you wouldn't know. I don't care that this person had a college degree or not. This person cared, and this person was working hard. They can run this whole team. And I learned it wasn't about your background. It's not about what you did in the past. It's about what you're doing now and what you can do in the future.
And so 2003, you had or how many, 12 team members. 2013, you took over as president and CEO of the company. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
So about 10 years, you guys were.
Yeah, in 2000, and basically 2009, I started, we had two divisions. In 2009, I started running the wholesale division, UWM.
Okay. Yep.
And then 2013, I think 2012 or 13, I became the president, but then the CEO of all of it. And then I ended up just keeping just the wholesale brand, UWM.
Got it.
And focusing all our business on that. And taking all the great people in the retail that we had, there weren't that many, it was a smaller part of our company, and bringing them over to the wholesale channel.
Okay, so I had two thoughts and questions on that. The first one was, how much had you grown in that period of time before you broke off? And then what was your vision where you said, wholesale's where it's at for us?
So all I ever did was wholesale. That was like my focus. That was my baby.
Okay.
And so I was all in wholesale. And by 2009, we had a breakout year to about $2.5 billion of mortgages, not of revenue, of mortgages.
Yep.
And we had about 400 people. And at that point, I was running the wholesale division. And that was really kind of when I realized, gosh, the best place for a consumer to get a mortgage is an independent mortgage broker. And the best place for a loan officer to work is an independent mortgage broker. Since those two things are facts, I want to go all in wholesale. And so I kept doing wholesale. We still had a small retail channel. And then in 2013, when I took over the whole thing, we said, we're not going to even keep that retail channel because we're so all in on wholesale.
So focused.
Yeah, and that's the thing is everyone says you got to diversify, and right, I want to be the best. It's hard to be great. It's hard to be the best at one thing, let alone try to be great at 3 or 4. And so we just said, let's be the best wholesale mortgage lender in America, and that was the focus.
Was your dad along for most of the ride, or?
No, once again, my father's never had an office here, never worked here. He's always active. Like I talk to him almost every day. We check in and see how he's doing, and he sees how we're doing here. But he was actually more of the retail guy. So his side was the channel that I was not focused on because that's what he knew. And as an attorney, that was what he had spent his time on a little bit. And so, but he was along with it because he believed in me. And once we started doing what we were doing, and I give him credit because if I ran a company, like he didn't, my young son's gonna come in and tell all of these things. He was open to the changes, let me kind of run with it, and let me stub my toe a couple times, and then obviously it's worked out pretty well in other aspects.
So as you were learning the ropes along the way, though, were you running? I mean, because 400 people, who's running the place when you had 400 employees?
Yeah, no, I was running that division, which was the majority of the people. Yeah, and so I had sales. And then also we had an operation that had a wonderful woman there at that time. She's unfortunately passed since, but helping me run the operations, and we were just doing it together and building the business, and it's been great. And then as we kept scaling and growing, it was all about. And after 2009, I realized we got really big and we were very profitable and very successful. And I realized at that point was, man, I can't do this alone. I need to get. I'm not that smart, right? I need a lot of great people. And so really, and that's when we really invested in the culture, the business, the technology, the risk and compliance areas, and the people. And that was what we did from 2009 to 13 until where I really took over to run the whole organization.
What were some of the things initially, how you were educating yourself on best practices with culture, and did you bring in people to kind of drive that, or how?
A lot of it's Michigan State basketball. So I spent time with Izzo, and I really, I wish
Amazing.
It's amazing, and there's a reason that guy's been so great for 23, 24, 25 years. He set the tone in that respect, and so the real thing I thought about was it's all about people. The team with the best players usually wins if they have the right leadership and vision. And so my job was leadership and vision and get the best people. And how do you get the best people? Well, you got to treat them really well. You got to compensate them fairly. You got to create an environment where they have opportunity. Think about what does a person want? And that was what our whole business was. What do our clients want? What do our people want? And if I can deliver what my team members and my clients want, I'm gonna have a really great business, whether it's mortgages or whether I'm selling paint or whatever I'm doing.
I love it. And it feels good too, I think,
Absolutely.
when you can be a lifter upper instead of a dragger downer in business.
Yeah. It is the best thing, the best, most valuable, most powerful thing that I get to do every day is people thank me, thanks for this. I didn't really do anything. All I helped do is create an opportunity, and then the best people run through that door.
Yeah,
we can help maybe crack a door open, but you still got to open it. You got to run through it and do great. And And so it is the best feeling to be able to see someone that started in one place and worked their way up through the organization, or is buying a house for their family, and they've been able to do it not because I've done anything, but because I've helped create an opportunity or a platform for them to really show who they're capable, what they're capable of doing. And not everyone goes through college and grad school and this path.
Right.
It's a great path, and a lot of successful people, but there's a lot of people that could be successful. They just need to be shown that you believe in them. And quite honestly, they made me better. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, it is a two-way street. When people are struggling, and there's a certain percentage, and stress is a big component of it. Everybody's trying to juggle so many things these days between technology and families and work and paying bills and everything else. I'm curious what kind of programs that you guys have in place that others can learn from to help their team members. What could we put into place at our organizations that can help team members that are struggling?
Well, I think what you got to realize is that you said right there so key is, time management and time, no matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you are, we all get 24 hours a day, right? And so we all get the same amount. So how do you make it so that your people at your company's 24 hours can be the most impactful and happy 24 hours possible? And part of that is putting great things in your location, like we have, to try to make it so they don't have to stop at multiple places. Like there's things like that, but also empowering people and giving people the ability to be flexible with how they do their job. Asking them, what do they think about the role? How do we make things better? And so I think that happiness is different for everybody. So you can't say this is how to do it. What I got to do is give my leaders the ability to find out how their people are happy and what matters to some. Some people want the highest compensation. Some people want to have the ability of being able to work, not have to work the weekends, right? Like everyone has a different thing, and being able to customize it for them is important, but at the same time, working in a bigger team. I can't have 3,300 ways of doing everything. We have to have a way that we do it here at UWM, and at the same time, a way that works across the board. And so, I think it's important to realize that everybody's different, and everybody cares about different things. It's not just about pay. It's not just about hours worked. It's not just about benefits. It's about everything, and you got to understand what matters to people and try to deliver it for them.
What is your philosophy on remote working? Do you guys allow for that?
Yeah, so we don't. So it's one of the things that we believe that 3,300 people here every day is the key to our success. And so I know a lot of places say, oh, well, you can work from home 2 days a week. And like you heard that huddle earlier, right? You can't do that from the phones, right? And so we've done, and that's different. There's some things that someone say, oh, that's not as flexible as the company down the street. Like other companies do that. I said, listen, we're not, if there's 100 things that are great for team members, I believe that we're probably better in 85. And maybe 10 of them were about the same. And there's 5 that maybe someone could perceive are better. But the way I look at it is I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm trying to be the best mortgage company in America and the best place to work in America. And if we do those things, and I focus on, I'm not just trying to do one of those, right? The best place to work in America might be just don't ever show up, right? And just get a paycheck, right? Like that doesn't work to be the best mortgage company. And being the best mortgage company might be work 1,000 hours and pay them nothing. That doesn't work to be the best place. So you have to blend these together. And a lot of that was with, even thinking back to Michigan State and Tom Izzo was you could be a player's coach and let the players kind of, let's not work them too hard and like high five them all the time and great job. And that's great. They all think you're a great guy, but you don't win any games, right? And then you can be a real jerk and yell at them and scream at them all the time. And you might win some games, but no one wants to be around you. And Izzo, to his credit, is in the middle, where he'll hold you highly accountable, but he treats you like family and cares about you. And that middle ground is what we focus on here at our company too.
That's great. What have you learned from your wife? I know she's been through some challenges in her life, and I'm just curious what you've drawn from her and you incorporate into your own life personally or here at the company. And
yeah, so she, it shows that my wife's a great example, and she's an inspiration to me in many respects. Where she's, you would look at her and say, oh, she's a very pretty girl, she's got a great family, you don't know what's going on in someone else's life unless you really know. And so I think she's gone through a lot with her mother who's passed and a lot of things in her own health. And to give her credit, she talks about it, and being open to it. And that taught me a lot, which is like, gosh, you don't have to keep everything in. You can say, hey, listen, things go on in your life, things go on in her life. How do you make sure that you can be open about it? And if people don't want to be care about that, people are like, I got my own problems. Well, great. It shows you who they are. And when people do care, it really shows you who they are too. And that's really, at our company, I realized I got 3,300 people with something going on outside of here. And, it made me realize with my wife, because you could look at her and say, oh, seems like she's got everything going for her, but she's had some tough things in her life. And, it's made me realize that go deeper with everyone and realize that just because they smile and doesn't mean everything's perfect, and go deeper and care about them at a deeper level. And if you can do that and you can teach your leaders to do that, you're going to be a really successful person, not just company, but person. And that's more important.
Vulnerability and authenticity, I think, go a long way. So that's a great lesson that I think some great wisdom that she brings to the world. I wish we could see more of that so often, because I think a lot of times things always look perfect on the outside, but
you see people post on Facebook or social media these things, and it's like they want to, they show you their best look. Yeah. And my wife showed me that you can be okay not showing your best look and being a little bit vulnerable, and like you said, authentic, genuine into who you are, because no one's life's perfect. Right. And that we've all gone through things, and if you can relate to someone else and let them explain what you've gone through, I think you'll be a happier person, and you'll make an impact on other people. What
are some of the things as a leadership team that you all do to create that kind of environment, like with authenticity and vulnerability?
Well, I think like you heard about the huddles. We have a thing called here at our company called Your Times, which the biggest thing, this is back when I took over 6-7 years ago. It was once one thing I could change at the company. They said, well, I don't feel like I got that time with my leader and time. And so what we changed here was we have a thing called Your Time, which is not a yearly review like a lot of companies to get a raise or merit increase. It's a monthly 25-minute one-on-one with your leader. 100% of people do it. And it's not about, hey, do we give feedback on how you're doing? Yeah, that's the last 3 or 4 minutes. The first 22 to 23 minutes is all about what's on your mind, what's going on in your life. And the team member brings the topics, and so we really bring that in. And I have the team members all set their goals, 2 personal and 2 professional goals every single year. So we look at those goals, and every time in Your Time, I talk to my leader. Hey, it says that you wanted to lose some weight. Where are we at right now? What's our weight? Like, show that I care. Open up them to be vulnerable with you, and you be with them. And the only way you can do that is by spending time with people. You can't say, oh, well, Matt wants us to do this. So, no, the only way you can really open up authenticity and build relationship is time. And so we force it, right? We force the 25 minutes once a month meeting. And they have, literally, I have one of my leaders that I probably spend 60 to 90 minutes a day with personally. And I have my Your Time with her every single month too. Because you know what? Literally, we just got done with a 60-minute meeting in her office, just the 2 of us, and we got Your Time in 30 minutes. Come on up to my office, and we're going to do that again. But you know what? We do it, and we talk about her husband and her kids and things that matter to her, and you break it down in that relationship level, and that's how you develop people that care, and you show you care about it, and it shows who you are.
How do you tie people into the goals for the company?
So we set company goals, right? I'm real big on goals with metrics. Goals have to have a metric and a number in there, so if I know we hit it. And then each team sets goals. And then each team member sets goals. And what we said is, every goal that a team member sets, if your goal, I want it to tie to the company's success, tie to your team's goals, and then all the team goals have to sign to the company's goals, and it rolls up. Now, your personal goals don't have to tie to anything besides what matters to you, but we like it to roll up that way, where the sales guy is not setting a goal that does nothing to do with our company's 6 main goals, and so we got to all roll up as a company. And if you get everyone rowing the boat in the same direction, everyone, this adds up, and that's how you're really successful.
Is that philosophy you got from the basketball program, or is that, there's Rockefeller habits, which is similar to that. There's EOS, which is similar to that. Is that anything you use? Or
no,
it's just your philosophy.
Yeah. Well, it's Michigan State basketball. 2 mentors in my life, Tom Izzo and my father, are 2 people. And then obviously I've taken a little bit from each of them and morphed a little bit into my own version of things. But no, I unfortunately, I'm not as well read on some of those philosophies. But, Michigan State basketball, set a goal, hold people accountable to it, and we're all going to do this together as a team. I'm real big on the word team. My family's a team. My work, we're a family. We're a team here. I'm a team with our clients. team is everything to me, and everyone has a role on a team. And if people that truly understand team will understand me and this company and what we're trying to do. And people that don't know team or aren't don't want to be part of a team, like that's not a great fit. Like I'm real big on team. Everything's team.
Yep. What is your relationship with money?
Money. So, I really, been much more successful than I've ever dreamed financially. It's never driven me, and it still doesn't drive me. The way I look at it is money follows success. So I just focus on being successful. And success can be measured in different things, from taking good care of people, doing right by people, growing a really big business. Whatever success is, I know money will follow. So it doesn't even cross my mind about how much money I'm making. I know it's not realistic, I get it, but I can. Even when I was making $18,000 a year, it wasn't like I should be getting paid 20. It was like I'm gonna go win. I'm gonna go be successful. Like I think about it, even companies like you think about Amazon. People gave this guy a hard time, Bezos. Oh, they're not making any money. You've been watching these old 60 Minutes like, oh, Sears Roebuck's worth less than you, but you don't make any money. It's like, what he was doing? He was out there winning. He was out there kicking everyone's butt. He was out there dominating. And money follows success. And that's how I think about it here is like, I don't look, my CFO doesn't like this. He gets mad every time I say it. I look at our financials for maybe 10 minutes a month here. I don't pay attention to the financials. You know what? Because I ran the business all month. I know what we did. Like the financials is like the scoreboard. Like Tom Izzo doesn't look at the scoreboard every minute like, okay, what's going on? No, let's go be our best version of ourselves. Let's go win. Let's go be successful. And the scoreboard will show that we won. And same thing here. The financials will show that we won. And I'll make money. Money will follow success. If you focus, too many people focus on, I want to go make more money. Go focus on winning. Go add value to a company. Go be a winner. You're going to make money.
So your CFO comes in and he or she's trying to have a tough discussion with you. Are you listening? I don't have time for that. You know me. Like, come on.
I'm not saying I'm always open to all discussions, but he doesn't come to me about, hey, what do you think about, we should cut costs. Like he knows that's not what we're going to do because the thing is he cannot bring me a number that I don't know and that I'm not intimately involved with. Oh, well, you see, we spent a lot of money on this thing. We hired 23 people above budget. Like listen, that's because we're building our business. Like, I know that leader. That leader doesn't hire 2 people. I'll talk to her about what she's doing. That's not how we run. Money follows success. The financials is just the report card. You can't lose money, right? I get it, right? You gotta deliver value, but that's just not how we run our business. And people that try to cut their way to success, it's the wrong way of thinking it. And if you do, and then the one thing I think about, and I learned this from Izzo, is I'm so in the weeds of the business. Like I'm not 10,000 foot, I'm not 30,000 foot, I'm gonna even not be 300 foot above. I'm in the weeds with my team members. I can tell you any process we run, how we do it. I know what the leaders' names are, why they're doing this, I don't need the CFO to tell me where to cut or where to think about financials. I know what those numbers are. I'm in the weeds of the business.
In all the time you've been doing this now, I guess it'd be about 16 years. Is that right?
Exactly.
So, have there been tough years, lean years? I mean, we had a blip there for a year or two.
Yeah, it's not as straight shot up, right? It feels like it sometimes when you look at over the 16 years from doing, 12 people to 3,300 people. But what you got to do is it's a lot of times it's up and plateau, and you got to figure out how do you get out of that next plateau to that next move up. But yeah, there's always tough times in business. There's tough decisions. But if you surround yourself with great people, you're transparent with them what's going on. You come up with a really good decision. And the other thing is, if I made 100, maybe 1,000 bad decisions, thing is, I'll change right back. I'll change. Like I'm open to change. Like I tell my people, if you're not open to change, you will not like it with me because I change right away. Like I'm not some people measure 12 times and cut once. I'm like, I'll look at it and cut it and then maybe measure afterwards, right? Maybe cut and then measure, and then we change and, you figure it out, And so, that's kind of how I think about it.
Is the pace of this company the pace of you?
Yes, it is.
You have a pace.
Yeah. I speak fast. I have energy.
Yeah.
I'm going all the time. Yeah. And, yes, the team is a reflection of me, and some people don't love that pace. And you know what? And it doesn't mean I'm right and they're wrong.
Yeah.
It just means that you don't fit well here, right? At our company, we're going. If you want to have a yes mentality, a sense of urgency, you want opportunity to grow, you want to be part of a special team, this is the place, right? If you want to come in and do the same thing every single day and have a methodical pace and just know what you're going to do and what's going to come this way. Nothing's going to change. There's great companies out there for it. It's just not here.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Amazon? You brought them up. What do you think of them as sort of how they're taking over the world?
Well, you know what? It's game on. You got to compete, right? Like, I love it, and he's doing a great job. And they're not taking over the world. What they're doing is they're just innovating, and they're open to change. Mm-hmm. Too many companies think like Amazon. I don't know the whole Amazon story that well, but the bookstore is like, well, it's not fair. We're the local bookstore. Well, add enough value at a good enough price. Deliver. It doesn't matter. Like one thing I hate, like, oh well, like this group's regulated in. Like, are they like no? Like, you're about to get disrupted. If the only way you're in business is because you've always been in business, or because the laws say you have to be in business, like, get ready, because if you got to be the best option. And so Amazon said, listen, I'm going to literally deliver things to you instantaneously. They're not the best price, but you know what they are? They're the easiest. Mm-hmm. And what I learned from Amazon is the fast and easy are the keys. Make things faster and easier. Like, people are like, oh, well, they even talk about Blockbuster, right? And Netflix, like, they didn't want to change. If you can't change and evolve, Amazon is changing the game. And if you don't want to keep pace, then just get out of business, because they're going to attack it. Maybe they come into the mortgage business. You know what? I'm ready, right? You know what?
Amazon wholesale mortgage.
It'd be great. You know what? I would love it.
It would teach you to have to, like, start thinking even more outside the box than you're normally.
You know what? I think that they've done a phenomenal job of being able to be in multiple businesses. I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm barely good enough to be in one business, right? More, if they want to come into mortgage and compete with us, like, I tell people, like, some people say, hey, this guy might be smarter than me. This guy might have more money than me. But if I come in every day at 4:30 and he comes in at 7:30, that's 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, 60 hours a month, 720 hours a year. He better be 720 hours smarter than me this year. Or if he is, 1,440 next year. I'll keep outworking you. I'm like, hard work's going to win at the end of the day. And so whether it's Amazon, whether it's whoever it is, as long as I stay focused and my team stays focused, we'll end up winning.
Do you take any time off?
Not much. But to be fair, I don't come in the office much on the weekends, especially in the summer. I could be with my kids. We have a pool, and so. But I'm always working. I'm always thinking. Even if I go out of the office for a couple days, like I take a long weekend with the family, I'm emailing. Like, no one. Like, I'm fully engaged. And it's not because someone says, "Well, don't you have stress? Take some time off." I love it. Like, my friends want to go golf for 5 hours. Like, I want to go to work for 5 hours, right? Like, I tell them, I was explaining, like, your golf is my office. Right? Like, that's how I think about it. So I love it. And I don't have any stress. I enjoy what I do every day. And I do take a couple times. Usually between Christmas and New Year, I try to take a little time with my family.
Do you go on a vacation, and can you even go on, like, can you even stand it? I'm trying to picture you like at a beach vacation.
Yeah, I can do a beach vacation or at a pool because I can email and I can put it down for an hour and a half and go play football in the ocean with my son or something, or my daughter jump in the pool. So I can definitely do it, but I love this pace. Like, I don't like to slow down because I just love going. I'm going all day. I don't like to sleep in. I like to just get up and roll.
Is it a constant sort of like adrenaline rush for you?
I guess, I don't know it any other way. So to me, like, people think like you're always energetic. Like, to me, it's just who I am.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but yeah, I'm always feeling good. I'm always energetic. I'm always, I'm always smiling. I'm ready to go. And so that's just who I am. That's who I've always been. And that's who I always want to be. I don't want to be kind of slow and relaxed. I like to go.
Yeah. If your kids play sports, or if they do already, will you coach their teams?
Oh yeah, I coach them all.
You already do.
I coach them all. I coach.
What kind of coach are you?
I hope I'm a good coach. I'm a coach that cares about the kids immensely. So like I coach my son's 8-year-old basketball and football teams, and now his baseball team that's starting right now, and my 4 and 5-year-old, my girl's 5, my boy's 4, and they play on the same team. So I only have to coach 2 groups of sports, but I coach their football team and their basketball team, and just try to be involved with as much as I can, because you know what, I got 10 years, and when my son's 16 or 18, and they're not going to let me coach them anymore, right? And so I'm going to enjoy this time. So that's why the weekends, and some great leagues around here that let you coach. It's just the weekends. Right. I can do it. It's hard. I can't get there at 4:00 to coach a game, right? But it's been great.
How do the kids react to your energy?
I think they like it. I think they like it because I'm not Tom Izzo. I'm not. It's not about winning. So what I tell them is, now to be fair, I do like to win, and I tell them it's more fun when we win. But at the same time, when all I care about is that they try their best. And so I'm real big on like the kids diving on the floor and kids hustling and it's so much fun. I love coaching. I'm excited every week when I get to coach their sports. I'm more excited than the kids to play just because I like to coach with them and be around them and I like seeing them get better. Like it's fun seeing a kid that can't make a shot at the beginning of the year, and by the end of the year he makes 2 out of 4. Like it's fantastic.
Outside of your wife's book, do you have any favorite books?
I don't have any favorite books. I'm much more I like stories. There is a book by a guy. I guess one book that I think of from a leadership book is a guy named Mike Abershoff, Captain Mike Abershoff, and he's done a great job. Actually, he's coming. He spoke here before. He's actually coming next month to speak here again. I like his story. His book is the high level of it is that he basically turned one of the ships around, from being the lowest rated ship to one of the best ships. And I tell my people here, he did it without being able to hire anyone, without being able to fire anyone, without being able to promote anyone, without being able to give any pay raises. He just had to change the culture, listen to their ideas, care about people, show that you're in the weeds, know everyone's name, like all the things. And I tell my leaders, like he can do it without all the tools I'm giving you. You have the tool to give a raise or to let someone go or hire someone new. And so I think it's called It's Your Ship by Mike Abershoff. That's one book that I like. But there's a couple other ones I get involved with, but I love stories. I love watching sports stories, Kobe Bryant or Isaiah Thomas, and I like those types of things more than books usually.
Are those values that you guys have on the wall that I saw down there? But they're not called, but
we're called our pillars.
They're
our
pillars.
6
That's
pillars.
Right.
Yep.
Did one of them have to do with continually growing or something like that? If I remember
continuous improvement. Pillar 5.
Yes.
Continuous improvement is so it's the thing of like if you don't like change, you're not going to like it here. Like we talked about, getting better every day. And so people that don't want to go to training, like I've been here 3 years, I don't need to be trained. I'll go to training and get better. Like I can write the training and then listen to someone deliver it, and I'll learn from them. And so the mentality of like, if you're not willing to get better and improve, and this is Michigan State basketball, think about it. He gets guys that are 2 or 3 star recruits sometimes, and by the time they're going to the NBA and being superstars, getting better every day, every workout, every opportunity. And so the mentality of Pillar 5. But all 6 of our pillars is who we are. Is it all encompassing? Does it mean like someone said like, oh, this, like, it doesn't mean that we're right and you're wrong. It just means that that's what works here. And it's important to tell everyone that, like we have one of the sayings, thumb pointers, not finger pointers, which is like, hey, I'm accountable. We don't blame others. I'm not a victim. Like I'm not a victim of anything. Like I can change the outcome of this by doing something different. And so we're real big on all of our pillars.
What sorts of resources do you have for the team to continuously improve, both personally and professionally? So
it's continuous training, continuous, like the huddles you heard, the trainings. Like we have training all the time. It's not like, hey, well, I've been here a year. Like, no, you've been here. You're the top producing salesperson. You're in trainings every week for 90 minutes, right? And you're here for 40 hours. That means, you're in a decent amount of training. That's the guaranteed. There's other continuous improvement trainings, we call them CI classes, that you can go to and get better. And the mentality is if you're not learning, if you're not getting better, someone's gonna pass you by. And I think that might weigh for me as a CEO too. Like, if I'm not getting better, someone will pass, like, oh my God, as soon as I relax, relax for a second, somebody's gonna be hungry like me and come after my business. And so you got to get better every day. And if you don't have that mentality, it's hard to, I won't say hard to fit in here, it's hard to really succeed or thrive here.
What CEOs do you look up to? The ones where you say, that's a CEO that I'm shooting for.
I'd like the ones, so first off, I don't know any of these guys. Like I'm living my bubble here. So like Tom Izzo's the one I look to as the CEO. Of his business program, but when I look at other people, I like the guys that are on top, and because you know what, it's so like people say I can't believe you like the Patriots, and I'm a Lions fan, but it's but I still want Bill Belichick to win because you know how hard it is to be the best and then stay there. Like Tiger Woods, like I know he came down. Like I love Tiger Woods. I want him to be the best again. Like Michael Jordan. I'm an Isaiah Thomas guy. So the Bulls, Magic Johnson. But those are the best in the world at what they do. And so I'm a like the CEOs of companies that are the best. Like I don't know Jeff Bezos. I don't know anything about them. But I admire that they're the best and that everyone wants to take you down. And that fuels me. Like, I like when people want to take me down. I want people to want, like, if people aren't coming after you, then you haven't done, you haven't got to where you want yet. And in our industry, people want to take me down and take UWM down and our business down. They want to beat us. And that excites me, because I just think to myself, are they willing to go toe to toe with us? Are they willing to come in as early as, are they willing? They're not willing to do what I'm willing to do, and my 3,300 amazing people are willing to do. And so I love it.
You're going to out hustle everybody. Can you talk about expressing gratitude?
Yeah. So, here at our company, what I've realized, and I know, and I think, I know my father knows, and I know Izzo, is that you can't be successful in anything in life alone. Even with my wife, and my wife's a huge part of my success. My kids now are, right? They motivate me and energize me in a certain way. And so expressing gratitude to people is something we talk about a lot here. And we talk about, making sure people know how much you appreciate them. And it doesn't have to be just, they did a great job today. It could be, they made an impact on your life in some way. Expressing gratitude, we call it giving kudos here when someone's doing a great job. We do that a lot here, and it takes nothing but a second to do it. A lot of times I get in real early, and I'll look at some people, and like I talked about firm 40, I see some people working too many hours, and I'll call all of them and leave them a voicemail on their, so when they wake up at whatever time they get up or they get in, they got a voicemail from the CEO at 4:30 in the morning saying, "Thank you for working extra hours. We appreciate you. You're going above and beyond. I appreciate all that you're doing. It's not going unnoticed." And so it takes me 11 seconds to do it, right? To each voicemail. But that matters to them, and they'll let their husbands or wives hear it, or their kids. And so letting people know how much you appreciate them I think it's mandatory, because when you show how much you appreciate someone, it opens them up to be more vulnerable, as we talked earlier, to show you that they appreciate you, and then all of a sudden you have a better relationship. And so it's something I'm passionate about giving thanks to people, because I didn't get to where I'm at without a lot of help, and I'm not going to get to where we want to get without a lot more help from a lot of people. And I hope that I'm helping other people get to where they want to get to also.
Yeah. What about being great every day?
Yeah. So, our business is tough. Wholesale mortgage lending. Yeah. We're the number one lender 4 years in a row. We don't believe anyone's ever done it 4 years in a row. And we, first time we did it in 2015 was we barely beat the number two company by like 900 million in mortgages. The next year, my wife was so proud. She's like, "I can't believe you did it. What do you want?" "I want to be number one by more." And the next year we beat them by 9 billion. And she goes, "Okay, well, you did that. What's next?" "I want to double the number two competitor." And so to continuously, and then triple, and then last year we 3.5 times the number two. And the thing is, there's no guarantee. It's not like I signed a contract with this company. They have to deliver me their loans. Like, we have to be great every day. I tell my team, we got 2,000 loans in here yesterday. 2,000 new loans came to our office. If my technology is no good, if my price isn't good, if my underwriters don't do their job, if my sales, we get 0 tomorrow. Everyone's gone. No business is here. Like, so we've been trained to not relax, that you have to be great every day. And you know what? To my benefit, a lot of my competitors don't want to come in wholesale because of that same reason. Like, you can't have an off day in pricing. You can't have an off day in technology. You can't have one slip up, because they have, I won't say zero loyalty, because I built loyalty with them, but they don't have to be loyal. They don't have, like, how I know if we did a great job? If the broker gives me their next loan, if they get the next deal. If not, they send it to my competitor, right? And so we literally have to be great every day. And there aren't too many businesses like that out there that are like this big, and it's dependent. If we suck today, nothing tomorrow, like literally. And so it's a competitive mindset. It's a don't think you're too good, because it can all change tomorrow mentality.
What percentage of people come in here and this competitiveness and this energy just doesn't suit them? Again, not that it's a bad thing. Yeah. It's not something that suits them. Where do you see?
So we definitely have some people that don't want to run at the same pace, or don't have that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they're bad people.
No.
It's all good. It's just, and so it's a small percentage of people, much more than you think, because 65% of the people that we hire, so we've hired over 700 people the first quarter of this year, and over 65% of them came from referral from someone else here. Wow. And so they're telling their friends and family, "You come here." And they're also telling, like, my cousin, like, I'm not telling him about the job. Like, he's not like that, right? Yeah, he won't fit in here. So they kind of almost self-vetted out for us. And so that mentality and that of kind of people that fit in, and if they don't fit in, like I said, there's a lot of people that I'm close to that have left the company that just didn't fit in this space, and I wish them the best where they're at, and I talk to them occasionally, even give them business advice on what they're doing. It's okay if you don't fit in here, but most people do, because you know what? It usually brings it out of people. A lot of people, sometimes like a great coach will hopefully bring the best out of you. Yeah. I hope that we bring the energy, the smile. Mm-hmm. People, a lot of times I sit with new hires or new team members, and they're like, man, like everyone always says hello to me. Like, is that really like what it's like? Is this like, when's it going to change? I'm like, no, this is just who we are, right? This is, and then all of a sudden they start saying hello to people, and it perpetuates and control. It goes from there with everyone.
So, and I mentioned to you before we got started that I've had the opportunity to visit a lot of companies around the country with some pretty remarkable cultures. And one thing that you notice right away when you walk in is a certain energy, and it kind of tells you what's up. And you're spot on, and I know you're close to it, so as for somebody who's brand new to it, just walking through today, I really did feel the energy. The people are genuinely kind, and that comes from the top, from all over, is that there's a genuine care around this place. There's a lot of smiles, a lot of laughing. It's Monday morning.
Right.
It was a rough weekend for some of the state fans and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. People smiling, they're happy,
they
what?
Yeah.
If you make it a place that people like to be at, it's part of their friends are here, and you smile at them, and they smile back. I tell people, just be friendly to each other, just be friendly, and it's a much more warm environment. I'm glad you felt that when you walked in too.
And so thank you for doing all this for the community here. Being here myself and a business owner in the area and also a resident in the area, it's even, more, I have more gratitude for it, because to have these kind of companies around that kind of lift up our communities is really special, and I really appreciate you doing that. And I appreciate you spending the time on Monday morning with me like this. Awesome. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you're
thank
busy.
you for even coming in, and we're proud of what we're doing here, but we appreciate you and excited, and congrats on all the success you're having as well. And
thanks, Matt.
Excited to do great things in this community and nationwide together.
All right. Who sunk the first basket out here, by the way?
That might have been the only basket I made. They told me the rims are up. You got to come down and shoot for someone else.
And then you're like, I got to get back to work.
I made it. Lucky made the first one, but a lot of people are having fun down in the hoops.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.